And welcome back. The IEC is set to certify the voters' roll today. This will confirm citizens who are eligible to vote in the upcoming elections. Over 27.7 million voters have registered, an increase of 9.6 million new voters since 1999's general elections. This amounts to a growth of around 35%. The IEC held a media briefing last night to update on the latest developments regarding the 2024 elections. Let's now unpack some of the outcomes with the Commission's Chief Electoral Officer, that is Sai Mamabula. Sai, I want to start off here. Good morning. I want to start off with the investigation relating to the official who has been identified to be behind the leak of the list of the MK Party as well as the ANC. Have you been able, though, from your preliminary investigation, been able to establish what the motive was?
No, not yet. We were able really to determine the downloads on the local terminal and the fact that those downloads were at a point deleted. The motive, we've not been able to determine that at this stage. Of course, that terminal, the computer, is being subjected to a forensic analysis, and as part of that, we'll probably also establish the motive to the extent that that's possible.
Yeah. Considering that you have now spoken to this particular official, were you able to ask him why specifically the ANC and the MK Party's list?
Yes, we have been able to, through our officials, to have a discussion with the affected official. Those details have not been established even through a discussion. What we wanted to confirm was whether the list originated internally. That was our primary focus of the work that we did over the weekend.
Yeah. Did the official say to you that indeed it is I who logged onto the computer? I understand that you said from the preliminary investigation it was their credentials that were used. Were you able to find out from them if indeed it was them who used the details and downloaded that information?
Yes, indeed, that element has been confirmed.
That element has been confirmed. But why wouldn't you ask him why the MK Party and why the ANC list, if he's able to confirm that indeed he downloaded it?
No. Our own determination is that the downloads did not only relate to those parties, it was a whole lot of other parties that were downloaded. So it's, if you like, close to everything that there was by way of reports on the system.
Okay. So how many other political parties' information was downloaded?
A significant number. I don't have it here with me, but it was quite a number of parties that were downloaded.
Yeah. Then it sounds as though that it is something much bigger than just two political parties. Again, you haven't been able to establish what the motive behind this could have been.
The motive will be pursued as part of the ongoing investigation.
Yeah. Has the official been suspended?
The official was given an opportunity to make representation as to why they shouldn't be terminated, and we received the representations, and on that basis terminated the relationship of employment.
Okay, so he has now been fired.
Her employment contract with the Commission has now been terminated.
Her employment contract with the Commission has now been terminated. Considering this breach that has taken place, the investigation, of course, still continuing. The person has now been fired. Is there any intention from the IEC side to have a criminal case opened against her?
Well, we can't preclude that possibility at this stage. As the investigation, the forensic part thereof continues, we'll be able to make a determination as to whether there are elements of crime that can be proven, and on that basis a decision will be made whether to prefer charges or not.
Okay. Were you able to establish, after the downloads took place, what then happened to that particular information? Was it a phone that was used? Was there another device that was used?
Once the downloads have been done, we saw a flurry of email, but at this stage we can't confirm that the email bore attachments related to this list. That is what the forensic is now looking at.
Okay. The information regulator has now written to the IEC as well, following the 2 notices that it has received. Have you been able to respond to the information regulator with regards to the investigation, or are you going to wait up until the entire investigation is done?
We are the ones who notified the information regulator as the responsible party, and they've since written to us asking for a lot more detail than we had provided. We are preparing the detail that they require, and we will meet the deadline that they've given us, which I think until Friday. So we will be able to furnish the information regulator with the requested information before the Friday deadline.
Yeah. Will this also include what measures the IEC will be taking to prevent a similar breach in future?
Indeed, they are asking for that in very specific terms.
Are you able to share what those measures are at this point?
Yeah, indeed, and it's quite simple. Firstly, is to limit access to the reporting portions of the various applications that we have, to review which categories of staff have access to certain reports, and that type of thing, just to sharpen the awareness around it, but also to engage with staff throughout the country about really raising their consciousness about how to handle internal information, especially as it pertains to the personal information of people whose details we process as part of our duty to manage elections. So those are some of the measures that have already been implemented.
Okay. And this official who has been fired, was she junior or senior?
It's an official in a local office of the commission. So, relatively junior.
Relatively junior. Okay. Let's then speak about the ballot paper, and once the ballot paper is printed. In terms of the rules that are followed by the IEC, for instance, the IFP as their campaign, they have Prince Mangosuthu as the face of the campaign. But when it comes to the ballot paper, what do the rules say? Would it be a Mangosuthu Buthelezi who's on the ballot paper, his picture, or would it be the party leader?
The commission works on certain design principles, because in law, the commission is entrusted the statutory authority to design the ballot paper. So the commission is working on a set of principles, one of which is that the registered leader of the party will appear as a photo on the ballot. So that's the working principle on which the commission is going to be approaching the issue. So it has to be the registered leader of the party.
Okay. And then on the leak list, once again, Umkhonto weSizwe political party, we saw that former President Jacob Zuma is on that list again. Does the IEC still stand by its contention that, unfortunately, based on our electoral law and the Constitution, the former president would be excluded from contesting these elections?
No, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We will publish the provisional lists and will allow for objections to be raised. And if an objection is raised in that context, the Commission will look at the applicable constitutional principles as well as the provisions of law. So let's not speculate about it. Let's wait. Let's publish the list and allow for objections to be raised. I think it's best we deal with it in the context of the evolution of the election timetable.
Yeah. Okay. One last question, Sai, is the letter that was sent by the Democratic Alliance to the U.S. Embassy, as well as the Secretary of State in the U.S., Anthony Blinken. What do you make of that? Can an executive arm of another country come and observe an election in another country, specifically now speaking about South Africa?
The general standard really related to observation is that multilateral bodies are the ones that are invited, such as the Commonwealth, the European Union, the African Union, the SADC, and other international NGOs like the Carter Center, IFS, and so on. So we think that South Africa should not be an exception. We should follow the standards that are applied throughout the world in terms of the observation of election. And in fact, as it were, the Commission has already accredited a substantial number of organizations to observe the elections. As at yesterday, over 100 organizations have already been accredited, including some international observer missions such as the Carter Center. So let's stay with the principles, because to make deviations and so on we're going to be creating more problems than solving anything. Let's stay. We want to be observed, no doubt about that. We think that observation increases the transparency, and that we welcome. But let's do so within established principles.
Thank you so much for your time. Sai Mabulo is the Chief Electoral Officer at the IEC, and as you can see there on your screen, breaking news that the individual in question who is being blamed for this particular leak has now been fired by the IEC, and Sai Mabulo saying that according to their rank, they'll consider that particular individual as a junior official, but further investigations continuing, and possibly also we could see criminal charges being preferred if they are deemed necessary.